here from we can see Kabir, who's head HR. Then Vinita worked from one of the companies. Alka is here. Usha is here. Then apart from that, we have many other known faces and some subject matter experts as well. Like we have Sandrine herself who's here, who's a subject matter. Minna is also here with us, and we have some more people who are going to join in. And from my own organization, I have Prasad also joining in. So that's quite a good sign. And with so many registrations happening for this event, I foresee many people will be joining in as and when the meeting progresses. But just should we wait for another 5-10 minutes or start the meeting right away? That's what is the
Let's
uh,
start. It's already 7:08, Mohan.
okay,
Yeah.
fine. We'll start the meeting and we'll record this meeting. In case people have missed this meeting, we'll share them the recording. I welcome everyone who have just joined in this meeting, and some people may be joining us in the middle. Just to give a heads up, or just to give you a brief about what is AIHR. I just wanted to give you a brief about AIHR. What is it all about? AIHR is an Academy for Innovative HR, which was started in the year 2016, and it has been progressing quite well as on date. What I get to know about AHR is we are focusing about AHR is having about 8 certification courses, certificates, and about 38 programs online, 15,000 plus learners, and about 58 plus instructors in AHR. And AHR basically concentrates on the new innovative approaches in HR, and it concentrates basically about HR analytics, digital HR. Then how do you become a HR champion, like how the intercultural HR functions. So they call it something known as the THR professional. So they have an assessment where they groom people into taking up the future HR competencies, what is required for HR professionals, what will be required in the coming days. And so that is all about AHR, and you will get to know more about AHR through Jonathan himself, who is from AHR. Now I am just passing on this platform to Jonathan to share us more about AHR and take us through what is the AHR all about. Thank you, Jonathan. You can please proceed with your presentation.
Thank you, Mohan, and very well said. Appreciate that. So the agenda for this session is to walk you through AIHR, again, the Academy to Innovate HR. So a brief presentation around what AIHR is, what we, along with other thought leaders, are prioritizing in terms of skills and competencies that will allow you as HR professionals to future-proof your skill set and keep you ahead in terms of where HR is going as a strategic business unit. Thereafter, I'll talk about our learning methodology, so how we help build competencies and lasting skills with our training model, and also talk about our different programs. As Mohan mentioned, we have 9 certificate programs of different skill areas and focuses based on what your priorities might be, or where you might say your biggest needs are in terms of learning. And thereafter, I can walk you through a brief demo of the actual program, show you what it looks like to interact with other individuals in HR in our community, to take our courses, to practice and to learn and to gain these new skills to better future-proof yourself as you move forward in your careers. We'll have about 45 minutes to 50 minutes remaining from now. I'll definitely leave at least 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the call to field any questions. And I'm looking forward to introducing you to our offering and hope to see you all as enrolled learners soon. So I'm going to share my screen right now. If you could bear with me one moment, excuse me. So the Academy to Innovate HR, again, was founded in 2016. Now, why are individuals and organizations investing in upskilling? Well, for a variety of reasons. They want to improve their own individual performance. They want to progress in their existing roles or perhaps transition into new roles in different HR channels and functions. But also improving in your own performance will allow for your team to improve in its performance as well. So a two-pronged objective there. An opportunity to grow, to further yourself, to get an accredited learning partner who will allow you to excel and develop new skills so you can further your career in HR. And to have more impact on the business. We'll discuss what it means to be a business partner, regardless of what your competency is, whether you're working in talent management, business partnering, compensation and benefits, you can always be a more strategic partner to the business and have more significant impact. And that is the crux of all of our programs. In terms of AIHR itself, we partner with hundreds of organizations around the globe, quite a few actually in the UAE and in Dubai. We have over 325 organizations in the Fortune Global 500 that are partnering up with AIHR, either for individual learning paths or team licenses to help upskill teams. We have wonderful feedback on the course, the training, the experience of learning in our platform. And now what you find with AIHR is that the content is specific to HR. So it has an academic foundation, but it is also in depth, which is very important. It's difficult to find partners that have in-depth and practical content where you can actually practice what you're learning and apply it in your day-to-day job. And lastly, we are accredited by SHRM and HRCI. So upon completion of any program, you'll receive this certification and you can add it in terms of your own development and ongoing learning as part of your quota as an HR professional. Now, HR as a business unit isn't going to be completely automated, but a lot of tasks, a lot of functions of our day-to-day jobs are going to require us to engage and learn new skills. So what we call being a T-shaped art professional means developing certain competencies that will allow you to be a more strategic partner to the business. Now, these competencies, what we've refined and narrowed down, take four forms. Becoming data-driven, building more business acumen, understanding digital HR and how digital is transforming the workplace and its landscape, and becoming a better people's advocate. Now, data-driven, quite obviously, there's more data than ever at our disposal, and HR professionals need to not act on gut feeling, but actually take more data-driven decisions. That means being able to create your own scorecards, being able to read charts and graphs, being able to become prepared with decisions based on the data at your disposal. So how do we storytell? How do we visualize with data and use it effectively? Business acumen. As an HR professional, do I understand how to consult with the business? Do I know how to manage stakeholders and operate across different channels? Do I know how to take strategic business decisions and become a more strategic business partner? So again, all of our programs are going to take elements of these different competencies and focus on that. When it comes to digital, it's about what is being automated and what can I automate so I can free myself up for more strategic projects or projects that will actually be able to create more business value. So am I able to cure some inoperational efficiencies at the organization in different channels? How can I understand how technology is affecting the workplace and use it to my advantage so that I can be a more effective HR employee? And lastly, how do I champion my people? How do I build a strong internal culture? How do I focus on employee experience? This used to be one of the more traditional elements of the HR leader's job, and it is definitely part of a lot of the content of our programs in essence. Now, in your functional competency, it's no longer pivotal to just be a specialist. We need to be T-shaped, and everyone can be T-shaped, regardless if you're working again in comp and ben, talent management, business partnering, L&D, and so forth. So all of our programs seek to build these competencies for each and every one of you. Now, just to ask for everyone, if you'd like to leave some feedback in the chat, I'm curious, what stands out to you? Is there a specific competency here or functional skill that you want to prioritize in terms of your ongoing learning and development? And I'll give you a minute just to answer. And feel free to leave your responses in the message box. Okay. Yeah, so when I spoke to Mohan initially, we talked about analytics and how we're leveraging data, business acumen. Nice. And a wonderful thing about our programs, out of the 9 certificate programs we have on offer, 4 of them are really specializing in HR analytics, people analytics, dashboarding and reporting. Okay, great. So moving on from there, now to build these competencies, how do we go about doing it? Because it's not easy to create lasting behavior change. You have to have a really effective training model in order to make sure that these skills are being used day to day, week in, week out, for good. Now we have a 3-pronged learning methodology called knowledge, skills, and experience. This is what's going to build a new competency for you. This is going to help you become more data-driven or build your business acumen. In each of our programs, we have a certain number of modules. Those modules have each element of these 3 prongs. We have first knowledge. So lessons that start with videos. These are instructor-led, between 1 to a few instructors per program. And these individuals largely have great expertise and a strong academic background in the field of HR. And it is, of course, again, specific to HR, all of the content. The programs are all self-paced. And to test the knowledge that you've gained in these video lessons, we have quizzes. So to make sure that this knowledge is retained. Followed by these videos and these quizzes, we have reading materials with contemporary information and relevant case studies so that you can read and keep up to date, because not everyone just enjoys learning by watching videos. Reading materials and quizzes are also very helpful. The second element is skill building. A funny quote that we like to use is, you won't become a better cook by watching the cooking channel. So in order to practice what you're learning, we have role plays, case studies, and assignments. We encourage you to fail if you must in a fail-safe environment, because only by failure will you be able to build new skills and gain more understanding. The last piece of our training model is, how do we build the experience? Well, that's on us. We'd like to think of ourselves as learning partners. So to create a joint action plan and accountability to help you in your daily work, we have a resource center that will provide templates, tools, and checklists to help you put the learning into action in your day-to-day job. So to truly be a partner to you in how you implement the learning at work, in projects, in a new role, and so forth. And out of curiosity too, I'd like to ask, what makes learning engaging for you? Is it assignments? Is it videos? Is it quizzes? Is there anything that stands out if any of you have taken a training before? Passion, wonderful. Case studies. Yeah, this is wonderful. Games are great also. We seek to find ways to gamify this as well. And in the resource library, you'll find interactive opportunities to make the learning a little bit more collaborative, a little bit more social. But I would say that where we stand apart in terms of our training methodology is, again, on the skills component. Role plays, case studies, assignments throughout each of the programs. And again, if you do this as a team or as an individual, you'll be able to work as a team too. We have an amazing and engaging community of learners. It's the biggest online HR learning community and as part of any academy in the world. And you'll be able to leave feedback, ask questions, engage with others as well in order to make the learning as social as possible. And that might include engaging with others about assignment completion or the practical elements. And throughout, you'll also be able to engage with the tutors that are working in the programs. If you want to ask questions, if you have feedback, if you're misunderstanding one of the lessons. So there's always a give and take in terms of, how social you can make this learning experience. And for other elements of our platform, again, it's completely online and self-paced. So if you want to do 1 hour a week, 3 hours a week, you can commit as much time as you like. We have the full resource library. We did start as a blog 5 years ago. So in terms of thought leadership, we're always sharing news, information, articles, what have webinars being hosted where you can engage in the most thought-provoking content around HR on the whole. And again, the community will allow you to engage in a public forum with thousands of other learners about an array of topics at any point in time, and also have access to all of the resources and content that are provided to you. We have learning bites. So out of the existing certificate programs, if you want 15 minutes to 30 minutes of a learning bite with a little practical element or a quiz to make it more engaging, to just take something away for the daily work, you'll have access to this. And then the Career Center. So this is about the templates, tools, and checklists. If you have questions about implementing this in your day-to-day role, the Career Center will allow you to action this and execute more properly with the learning that you've done. Just to give you something that's not totally existent in the program that you're taking as part of the assignments, our team will work with you to provide resources, again, that will allow you to implement in your role. Personal coaches. So we have subject matter experts that are really like embedded into the solutions too. So they're never far away. There's always someone you can engage with, someone that's willing to provide feedback, answer any questions, and brainstorm with you on thought-provoking matters that you're exploring through each of the programs. And if there are those of you that want to work faster, want to learn faster, we have upskilling fast tracks. So you can gain new skills faster in a predetermined time. And this is something that you can actually plan with one of the personal coaches if you want to achieve a certain behavior change by a certain period of time. Now that is the program, or at least the program on the whole, the product. If there are any questions, I'll open the floor since I think there's a manageable amount of us in here. Are there any questions right now?
One question, John. We know it's a self-paced learning. Basically, if we are going in as a gang, so will there be a kind of program manager who will assist us, and can we have a certain kind of timelines within which we need to complete this course so that there will be a push for everyone to complete the program, because self-paced sometimes people lacks. So that's the reason I was asking that.
Yeah, we have an admissions team. That's another word for a personal coach. The admissions advisors can create a plan for you if you need to be on a fast track, or if you need to create a timeline of 6 months, let's say, to create a specific program. So we do our best to nudge you, to keep you on track and create and enforce that accountability. So that plays into, again, the personal coaching and admissions process. There's always someone, an instructor, for example, who's leading the programs themselves. The content won't do this, but the admissions team will. And
how will this T-shaped assessments help us? Basically, we are either HR generalists or specialists. What will the T-shape, how will the T-shape assessment help us? How will it give us an insight in which area we'll have to concentrate on? We have an assessment that will allow you to understand how T-shaped you are. So regardless if you're a generalist, of a certain, let's say, specific focal area, you'll be able to say, well, as a generalist, can I leverage data more effectively? How are my finance? Well, I wouldn't say finance, but do I need to advance my skills in building more business acumen? So the assessment will drop down and take a few sub areas of questioning to gauge your level of skill in those competencies. And it does it based on those 4 competencies. That is our model. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay.
And after we conclude, of course, I can share this assessment with you, Mohan and Shamita, which you can share with everyone. So you can better understand which program might make more sense for you to enroll in. So, and just to give you all an idea of that portfolio, these are the programs that we have on offer. We have 9 blue certificate programs. These are the lengthier, more in-depth programs. And then we have individual courses on offer on the right-hand side in black. And your license, depending on how you wish to get started, will give you access to all programs possibly, so that you can really add as much skill development and new competency building as you'd like in a 12 to 18-month license period.
Can I add a comment? Jonathan, I don't think we know each other, but actually I'm one of the course people developing the certificate for compensation and benefits. I see it's announced here, so that's why I was waiting to see if it was like officially announced as that is coming or not. And just for everybody on the call, for me, my experience is I'm working right now to develop one of the 4. So there will be 4 classes within the certificate. So I'm working on developing one of those. And maybe I might develop a few modules in another class. And the experience as the person who actually is designing the content of the course is really, really good. And I think will give a good content for the people who take the class as well. And I'm not talking just about the comp and ben module, but because I'm seeing it from the other side. They have a team, they have a graphic designer, video designer, copywriter, some people who are there to help us to design, activities, case studies, and so on. So that it's not just like when I will record the class, it's not just me talking to the camera, off script. It's fully scripted, but fully integrated as well, so that the experience when you're going to attend whatever certificate or class you want to take, HRBP or people analytics, whichever, is going to be fully encompassing. And it's going to be very, I think, interesting for people, because it's not just like watching a YouTube video. Some of you know me, they follow maybe my blog or my videos that I've launched since the beginning of the year. I just talk to camera, that's all. It's a more complete experience. And I think this is from my experience with other training entities who are also, delivering online trainings. This is a big advantage that AIHR has, is the professionalism that they put into developing a training which is really going to not make you just watch and take notes, but also participate, because you will have case studies, you will have, activities. There is like a little quiz at the end of each module within each class, and so on. So a constant way of being involved in the recruitment, not just being a passive, person watching a video. So it's a proper training, I would say. So I just wanted to say that.
I really appreciate that you said that, Sandrine. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. I had no
idea.
Thank
you, Sandrine. Thank you for that. And Sandrine, I know I am a great follower. So I'm happy that you spoke about it, especially from the compensation and benefits angle. Sandrine is one of the experts, subject matter expert in this part of the world, at least. Again, I would request Rudra to share a few words, because Rudra has already enrolled into AIHR and he has been our inspiration to contact AIHR and pass it on to the whole HR community, because I think he has completed 1 or 2 courses already with AIHR. Rudra, can you please speak up? I've seen you on the group. Rudra, are you there?
Mohan, maybe we can take this up after Jonathan is finished.
Sure. No problem.
So everybody can speak. Yeah. So let Jonathan finish. I think then we can invite everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandrine.
Thank you again. And yes, Shamita, what I think would make sense actually to pivot off what you just discussed, Sandrine, is to show everyone the platform. Oh, can't hear anything. I think Vanita's having a bit of audio issues. But if we look into the program itself, now, the first thing you'll notice when you get into our portal is that we have this interactive community that Sandrine just mentioned, that I've mentioned a couple times. So this allows you to, again, interact with other individuals, see that there's a whole community of people sharing and, you know, just collaborating, coming together. And AIHR, as Sandrine again mentioned, we have video editors, we have copywriters, we have a product team that's always making sure that we're adding the most relevant, most information, like as much as we can outside of just the program. So here you can see an example of one of our learning bites, what you need to know about the HR business partner. So, you know, these can be released literally, you know, once or twice a week, just as nuggets of knowledge and information.
HR business partners should be strategic liaisons between HR and the business, helping organizations make an impact. But 57% of C-suite executives see HR as a largely administrative function. This is because HRBPs are getting bogged down in operational activities. To truly lead the business conversation, the role of an HRBP has to become more strategic to help organizations increase their productivity, profitability.
So before, I mean, I could have this playing for quite a while, but if you see with one of these learning bites, for example, we always link to interesting resources, but we also allow for individuals to share their thoughts and engage with one another on any one of these topics. So a nice engaging way to make the learning more social for individuals and for teams. But if I wanted to go directly into one of the programs, I would just need to type in, you know, whatever program stands out to me. So if I wanted to go into business partnering, I could literally just view the course and see the breakdown of the program itself. So here you can see the design, and I would get started and I'd see that there's a number of modules. So in order to progress through the program and to unlock new modules, you have to go step by step. So module 1 would be Introduction to the Strategic HR Business Partner. And as you can see, we have lessons with the videos, we have reading materials, sometimes you have bonus learning bites, and then we have the quizzes. And in some of these modules, as you progress throughout the course, you'll see that there are assignments. So the practical element, there's case studies, there's role plays, so that you can practice everything you've gained in terms of knowledge. I'm actually just looking for one right now. So you can see in this consulting skills module, we have an assignment at the end. So here we're providing a practical case where you'll use your consulting skills. You'll use these skills to provide actionable advice to your business stakeholders. And in some of these assignments, we provide the data and we provide the templates already. I think there was another assignment that was in the last module. It's a bit more interactive. Assessing the impact of trends. So the assignments are also meant to be quite in depth. So we have an assignment split up in 5 steps. And then you can see the attachment as well. So if you were taking a program in HR analytics or in people analytics, for example, we would have assignments where you're measuring scorecards, reading data, visualizing or storytelling with the data and answering questions. But again, it's meant to be that you practice in a fail-safe environment and you get as much learning as possible through this practical element. So this is really the navigation of our programs. They each end with a capstone project, which is a more layered assignment, which has an exam component at the beginning of it. This is graded by our team. And upon its completion, you'll receive your accreditation and your certification. And I'll open the floor for any questions. If there's specific areas we want to look at, I also have the people analytics program opened up here too. Are there any questions on either how the content's made, how the assignments are created, anything of that sort?
Yeah, it would be interesting if you can tell us more about the assignments on Capstone, especially because I have got someone who were doing and they said they found it a bit challenging. So what's it all about, the Capstone projects?
Yeah, the Capstone project, by the time one of these programs has been completed, you'll have gained, let's say, they take around 40 hours to complete per program. That's the dedicated time in a 12-month period that we allot. And the Capstone project is as though you're doing a bunch of assignments all together to build, like a real case for what you've learned. I mean, Sandrine, are you playing any part in the development on Comp and Ben in assignments, or is it just content? What areas actually?
I'm not completely sure. I'm doing case studies. I'm thinking of assignments. I'm working with Nicolas from the team on that. I'm still developing the content for the lessons, so it might come as once I have done the whole thing. I think for that, I have to say, I mean, I've been doing compensation and benefits for 28 years. And I have designed quite a number of courses, and this has been the most challenging so far because you're really pushing us to really think in of a way to create something which will be applicable for the people who are going through the module. So I think I understand why the capstone might feel a little bit challenging. But that also demonstrates the value of the certification that you get at the end. It's not just, for showing up. It's for putting some thought into it and trying to apply what you have learned.
Yeah,
Sandrine, I just want an input from you. Look, we know the certification in Comp and Ben about World at Work, but when we look at an apple-to-apple comparison, how will be the content of World at Work compared to AIHR? Whether AIHR will give an insight so that we can develop ourselves with World at Work as well?
I would say they're quite different in terms of content. The way that I personally see it is that AIHR is going to be very useful for people who are HR generalists or in the beginning of their career in compensation and benefits. And by beginning, I mean the first 10 years, okay?
Okay.
The GRP is a very, even though they make it more international, it's still a very American approach to compensation and benefits.
Okay.
In the way that it is taught, in the way that it is designed. It's a very long process and very expensive, which personally, I don't think is really, it's very required in the US. I don't think it's as much required in our part of the world. And I am also developing courses for World at Work, by the way. So I'm hoping that I'm trying to be balanced for the view that I have on both of those.
Sure.
I would definitely start with the AIHR, and then maybe if somebody was considering that they want to be a Comp and Ben, for a long part of their career, and they want to have at some point an opportunity to work in the US for a multinational or something like that, try to get that multinational who is their current employer to sponsor them for the GRP in view of a potential, relocation to US. Right. But other than that, no, I don't have the GRP myself, so
Okay, got it.
I'm hopefully prove that you can have a great career without that kind of certification.
Sure. Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, but I agree also, Sandrine, with your point. If you're spending as many as 40 hours in a program to gain new competencies in Comp and Ben, in business partnering, in org development, strategic leadership in HR, you want to make sure that the final stage is, is challenging. You want to make sure that what I actually learned will be applied and that the learning had substance. So I think what's helpful about the way our product team designs these capstones, Mohan, is that they do it with all the learning that came in these prior modules in mind, all that you applied in assignments, all that you read in case studies. So it all comes together to coalesce into a whole that is, like if you paid attention, if you watched the videos, if you took the assignments throughout, you should have no problem finishing the capstone and passing it quite quickly in the allotted time given.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Jonathan. This is Ushas here.
Hi.
Hi. I had a query in terms, I was looking through the courses on your website, and I understand that you have a full academy course as well. I want to understand what all digital tools will we be exposed throughout this course in terms of Power BI, Tableau, or in terms of Python, SQL. What are the tools that would be a part of this course?
So you can see here, great question. Already you can see in People Analytics, we have a number of modules in the later stage of this program. Let me see, make sure. There's a lot of statistical analysis, basics into statistics in the People Analytics program. But as you progress with modules, you could see here HR data analysis. There's a lot in Excel. There's a lot in Power BI. There is a lot in Tableau as well. I'm just getting to it. So here you can see there's a full module dedicated to Power BI and Tableau. Actually, a couple. Coding in R, I would say, is also one of our courses that we have as a standalone too, but it's also in some modules. So yeah, I would say Excel, Power BI, and Tableau are taking up significant time in some of the programs. I think also in digital HR as well as a program.
Okay.
Other questions, also related to the programs, the content, what we looked at in terms of here.
Hi, Jonathan.
Yes.
Just wanted to ask you, this full academy course, as she mentioned, does it cover all the certification programs and the courses, or is it specific? Is it a reduced content in one license?
It covers all of the programs. So
okay.
There will be a couple of options that we will provide to you, either for 12 months or 18 months. And it would be either one certificate program of choice, but more likely we would provide the entire catalog, and you can choose which program you want to first enroll in, and you'll have, again, access for between 12 to 18 months to complete as much learning as you like.
Okay, so there is a expiry period to it, that is 18 months we have to complete all the courses.
Yeah, that would be quite a lot of time to do so, but you'll have up to 18 months, yes. But we will be able to provide an offer for up to 12 months as well, if you want to consolidate it into a shorter period.
So we can either go for individual courses as per our choice, or we can go for the full academy license.
Yeah, either individual program of the 9 or all programs and courses available.
Okay.
And we will definitely incentivize the plans that we provide to give you all access.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Good evening. This is Vanita here.
Hello.
Hi. So just had everything sounds so interesting. I'm so glad I'm here today, and thanks to Mohan for introducing me to this and asking me to come along, because I was in a phase where I was trying to figure out. I mean, I've been in the profession for over 15, 20 years. I already have I think most of us have a postgraduate degree as well, but somewhere down the line, there's so much happening and you feel kind of not abreast with things. And that's where you come back to certification courses, learning should be a continuous process, like we tell everyone else. So we should be there. Just wanted to know, how do I know which course to, like, for example, when Mohan asked, who's going to assess us, whether in the T skills, where do we stand and how? So will someone help us select the courses as well?
Yeah, I will actually be able to start that process, because what we have also along with the assessment is a personalized learning journey creator. So that goes hand in hand with the assessment. So based on how you score in the specific areas of the T-shaped framework, we will be able to make a recommendation for which program you should enroll in. Not just one, but multiple, but which might be a priority, depending on, again, what your role is and what your skill level is. Those assessments, they take around 5 to 10 minutes to complete, no more. And so it'll give you the recommendation immediately.
Jonathan, will someone...
Sorry, did that answer your question, Anita?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Yeah, Jonathan, will somebody be checking these assignments and giving us a feedback, or is it automated feedback?
It's automated, but the capstone is graded. So that is something that actually the subject matter experts on our team will judge and give you feedback on. But throughout, of course, is in all the lessons, if you do want to ask for feedback or ask questions, the instructors are in the programs, so you can always do so whenever you need.
Okay, so when we complete an assignment, we would get an automated feedback from the system itself?
When submitted, no, not on the assignments. That is something that you would have to manage yourself, but like,
okay, that
would be asking for the feedback in the lesson from the instructor when you submit your responses.
Okay, so can I ask for feedback from the personal coach or somebody, some subject matter expert?
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's how it would work in the modules leading up to the capstone. You would be able to ask for feedback directly below, in a comment box.
All right.
Get
okay.
Response.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions?
Oh, yes.
Anybody else?
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, speak on, please.
No, I was just going to say, I know that we have 10 minutes left, but in terms of how we'll progress moving forward, what we're going to be able to do is create a web page for connections, and we're going to be able to apply an incentive so that most or all of you, hopefully, will be able to enroll in the Academy at a discount. So I'm going to take that with Mohan and Shamita in order to set it up accordingly. But within 1 to 2 weeks, we should already expect to be able to release this to you, so you can decide for the length or duration of time you want to have access to the Academy, and either for one program or for all programs. And your enrollment can start immediately if you'd like. So to take advantage of the summer slowdown and to just start your learning journey.
Yeah, and I think Rudra is already in the team. Here we have 2 people who are already. I think Priya is also there on the call. Priya also has enrolled into. Priya, can you tell me something about your experience, what you are going through in the AIHR now, as of now?
Yeah, hi Jonathan. Thanks Mohan, thanks a lot. Yeah. Jonathan, have enrolled for employer branding. I've completed that. I'm having a background of recruiting. Okay, I'm a recruitment manager. I've joined for TAS and HRBP. In HRBP as a student, I'm very new. I'm not a journalist. So the examples and case studies mentioned in the video are not mentioned in the slide. Okay, so I find it very challenging when I'm referring it for the future. And I believe you agree in long term, we might have forgotten the audio, but the slides in the desk will remain with us.
So that you'll have access to the slides once you complete the video lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely feedback I can take to the team to see if it's something they plan to implement soon. I can imagine having those handouts will be really helpful after the fact. I can imagine also that the product team has a reason why they don't share them right now, but who knows, that could change in the future. But that's great feedback. Thank you.
And also, instead of that, you have giving us an instead of reading material, if there is an AIHR person who is interviewing the person who is working as HRBP or TA, if you do a case study interview, that would be more helpful for us to really understand what it is.
Yeah, I think that's also a really good addition. And what I would actually recommend, and I'll share my screen one more time, is if you want to find more case studies, not necessarily like the case studies that we have in the programs are wonderful, but if you want to go beyond that, you could look into the resource library that we have for all learners. So the resource library will actually allow you to just go to all case studies on offer. But also the way we post new content, a lot of the videos that we have that are published almost on a weekly basis are case studies in themselves. So we have thought leaders, executives from different organizations talking about their experience and how they're creating, let's say, a more agile workforce or doing more strategic organizational development. So this is a nice resource that could go hand in hand with the learning to provide a bit more on the case study front.
Jonathan, this is Rudrakumar here.
Hi.
I have been a long time associated with the AIHR, and it's been almost like 18 months, and I renewed for 2 years for this AIHR. And apparently I like this one. I started with the blockchain. That's one of the interesting courses you guys had. And it was talking more on the one thing which I liked about the AIHR program is whatever the contents you have, it was talking only about the HR metrics, like talking of the block when I was going through the blockchain course as well. It was talking about the person who was delivering the speech or the person who was driving the course. He was giving all the real-time examples pertaining to the HR. So that's very much interesting, because when we want to try and search, when I was trying and searching about the blockchain courses everywhere, the rest of the people were talking about the financial aspects or they were talking about the technological aspects. But none of the people were saying about the integration of the blockchain technology into the HR field, especially talking in the payroll or background verification. So that is something which I like very much in the blockchain course. And currently I'm doing a couple of courses over there. I haven't still gone to because I have a full license, and I prefer everyone to go for the full license, because what I have seen is like every 2 months or once they come up with the new courses, and the full license allows us to, even if you are not coming from the background, you can just go and enroll yourself for that particular certificate, and you can know about what is the latest thing it's happening in that particular field. I'm more into the mobility or international HR vertical, but I still enroll myself into the OD to see what's going on in this particular area. So it's just kind of giving awareness. And currently I'm doing all the people analyst course and the HR data analyst. I started with that one. Instead of directly going into the certificate programs, there are other programs which you guys have, like because the certificate programs are having various modules. Those modules are coming from the basic foundation courses. Like what I have seen is HR data analyst or the HR programming, HR through the art programming, and all those kind of stuff. All those modules are combined in the people analytics stuff. So I feel more comfortable in doing the basic, all those certificate programs. And again, going in all those programs, what I felt is like, especially on the data analyst, which I'm doing currently, all the metrics which the Eric was talking about is more on the HR stuff. because what we see elsewhere, all the programs, they talk about the financial metrics, they talk about the sales metrics. So it's kind of like sometimes it's relating to that particular metric, it would be very difficult. Like when they say about the sales turnover or anything, like you may not in your field you wouldn't have heard about anything about to do about the sales turnover, because when they talk about the FMCG sector especially, and you are coming from the manufacturing, you may not be able to relate it. But at the same time, when the people are talking about retention, or when they are talking about the training outcome, so it was very easy. And going on, the earlier somebody was asking the question about Power BI and Tableau. Power BI and Tableau is like beautiful tools, but it's again a big ocean to explore. I think you guys have made a good attempt in explaining about this tool, but definitely we cannot cover the entire Power BI, DAX, or everything in this particular course. But the overview is really helpful for the person who has not been aware about all the visualization tools. It really helps us.
Yeah. And that's the intention, right? Is for individuals that don't have these foundational skills to build the A competency. The good news, though, about the programs is that they're audited quite often, to my knowledge. So we actually have the opportunity to add more, not necessarily take away, to existing programs, which is nice. So if we find that there's content or more ways to keep the learning practical, we could add that at a later date, depending on if we see that there's a big need, or if we see it'll be a significant value add.
Two things again to add on to it. I just want to say about the community. Like you guys have the huge number of community members who are continually adding value to the programs. Like whenever we have some doubts or any clarifications, either the expert, or if there is any member who have already done the course, they are posting their answers. Or if you are stuck with some question, you are not able to move forward. Like there are in the data analyst course, we come across in the Excel, particularly on the Power Query, there is one section where we have to talk about VLOOKUP on the Power Query. So that particular section, a lot of participants were stuck with, they are not able to understand, or they are not able to move or manage with multiple tables. So the community members really help them. And at the same time, even the mentor or whoever is the coach, they are also helping all those people to complete those courses. That is amazing stuff.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and talking about the T-shaped, I think it was launched very recently about the progress of the person who started doing the course. I start feeling like offended, because what happens is like 2 weeks, it's coming via mail weekly once. If I'm not opening the AIHR and I'm not doing my learning, it gives me an alarm. Hey, you have not done a learning streak for 1 week. Please go and do. So it's a very good indicator that I'm not devoting myself, and it shows in my curve like, okay, you're not progressing. Please go ahead and do it. So it's a kind of another motivational factor as well. Nice. So that's something interesting tool which you guys launched recently, and it's really pushing me a lot.
That's a good one, Rudra.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Great reviews we are hearing from everyone.
Jonathan. Jonathan, if I may, I know we're short of time, but if I could just one quick thing, I'm not sure. So there's two reasons why we get onto a learning program. One is obviously to develop our skills and to support the business better and be a better business partner and stuff like that. One other thing is to probably improve your chances of bettering your career and your personal growth in terms of organization and stuff like that. So given the fact that CIPD is really sought after, and every other person, every other requirement for jobs is asked for a CIPD certification, how do we compare the two?
I think CIPD, you could say, is a little bit more outdated.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think they've always been sort of a household name in learning. but I would say the methodology is different. I think we put a much stronger emphasis on the practical component. As mentioned by the community, we try to make it interactive and social. I don't know how we could compare the content. I think, like, by Sandrine mentioning on Comp and Ben, for example, most of our programs have been released in the last couple of years, and the information is all as contemporary as could possibly be. So the case studies, the assignments, everything is really with the present and future in mind, not the past. And also when we talk about learning culture, I think CIPD, you're getting one track in, a UK specific to the UK, to Great Britain in terms of the culture of training, as opposed to, I think we take on a much more international flavor in terms of how we're conducting our training and the learning methodologies. So I think that stands out too. But yeah, I'd say in terms of learning, this feels like this is more in depth. Like there's more layers to this. The programs are 40 hours, and that can seem quite intense. But if you want to build a competency, if you actually want to gain new skills to change, how attractive you are as a job candidate or as a candidate for a more senior or executive position, this is the training I think that's going to help you do it.
If I may compliment Jonathan, I would say that, as I was saying for the GRP in Comp and Ben, but I think the same for CIPD, those are more like classic ways of teaching and classic content, which everybody's thinking about when they're thinking of content. But if you want to be more on the cutting edge of what's happening and the new skills that are required, and be more like, even for your own thinking ahead, I think that AIHR from that point of view, I mean, immediately when Eric and Nando started it, they were explaining to me that basically it was about HR analytics first. They wrote the book and then launched the academy, and then expanded. And where do you find blockchain and HR in CIPD? No. You might find an article on their blog or something like that, but that's about it. So I think they're corresponding to different needs. Probably if you're new to HR and you're coming from another function like finance, for example, you were like in finance before, or in the business, the CIPD would be good to give you that kind of background knowledge that you need to have about what is talent acquisition and all this kind of stuff. But if you've already been practicing for a few years and you have that knowledge already, whether it's through a certification or through gaining your experience on the job, and you're thinking more in terms of skills and employability from that point of view, progressive employers are not necessarily going to look for a certification from CIPD or GRP or what have you. They're going to learn at skills and competencies that you have and that you can demonstrate. And that's why, for example, places like edX or Coursera in other topics than HR are also very much valued, because they're maybe shorter programs in the sense that it's not taking you 2 years to go through the one module, but they are very focused on a specific skill or competency. So you can really demonstrate something. So it's a very good way to show that you're keeping yourself up to date with the things that are starting to emerge in the HR world, I would say. That's how I would see the difference.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you, Sandrine. If I looked at to submit an application for a role that required more experience, but actually it just required the skills that I could gain in terms of practical skills, perhaps dashboarding, creating self-service dashboards, again, focusing on data, business acumen, and future competencies, then I think AIHR has better content and it's still in depth. So I completely agree with you, and I think it's a great ad. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Sandrine and Jonathan. That really helped.
Yeah, great. I know it's already late evening for everyone, and we're already 6 minutes over. So with that, I think, of course, if you have any questions, if you ever want to get in touch, Mohan or Shamita, you can share my contact details with everyone. So if anyone wants to just engage in a one-to-one, a thought sharing, I'm happy to have that conversation. But again, as I mentioned, I'll share all the information for how we can sign you up individually as part of a program offer for connections via your own separate portal in the coming days. And I'll take that offline with you, Shamita and Mohan.
Yeah, sure. Sure, John.
Thank you. Just a heads up that AIHR has come up and said they will have a landing page separately for our group in Dubai. So that way, I think we can keep connected. And when we are a community on our own, I think we can learn from ourselves also. Like we have people already in the group, like Rudra, Sandrine, and all the experts here. So we can connect with them, what they have learned, and we can get an experience out of it once we are getting into this group.
Yeah.
So
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you all so much for joining. It was.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much for your.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you all for.
Thank you, Mohan.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining in.
Thank you, Sandrine.
You were the MVP, stole the floor. Thank you so much. Okay, bye everyone. Good night.
Thanks. Bye. Good night.